YouTube, hey, what's up? Casey Dimon here, TaxSaleAcademy.com, and thank you so much for joining me on today's live stream. Guys, as always, at the conclusion of this live stream, if you're looking to learn more about investing in tax-defaulted real estate, be sure to head on over to TaxSaleAcademy.com. Again, that's TaxSaleAcademy.com. All right, guys, on today's live stream, we are going to be talking about something that can be very, very intimidating to many new investors. We're talking about occupied tax sale properties, okay? So imagine you buy a house at a tax sale property. You're excited, right? You're pumped. You're so excited. You're so ready to get in there. You call your contractor. You get your spouse or significant other. You get all your friends together to drive over to that house because you're so excited to show off your investment, right? Then you drive to that property and bam, there's a family eating dinner at the dining room table. I can assure you, the first time you experience this, it will be a huge kick in the gut to you. Well, first off, when you did your due diligence, you should have known what you're getting yourself into from the very beginning. And your bid amount should have accounted for maybe some potential legal expenses down the road. But the question remains, you buy a property and it's occupied. So what the heck are you supposed to do? Okay? Well, the number one suggestion that I have for every single investor dealing with occupants is this: be kind. It really boils down to that. Just be kind. They are occupying and they are caring for your investment. And the truth is that there is not a single thing that you can do about it immediately. You can't just walk in there with a few big guys and kick them out of the property. It doesn't work like that. There are laws in place where you must take the appropriate legal path to get them out, okay? Now, we're going to discuss those later on, but another thing that some people think is like, well, the county sold me an occupied property. Maybe they'll help me out. Well, the county's not going to do anything for you, right? They are not going to evict them for you. So at the end of the day, it is your issue to deal with. But think of it this way. Maybe you have children, right? If you don't have children, just imagine you do for a moment, right? Let's say you have somewhere to go that's very, very important and you have to hire a babysitter to watch your children. How are you going to treat that babysitter? Okay? Are you going to be very, very aggressive and controlling right from the very beginning, right out of the gate? This is how you must do stuff. Boom, 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 boom. No, of course not, right? Well, because the deal is if you're very aggressive and you're very rude to them, that's how they're going to treat your children. With an occupied property, it's the same exact way. But instead of caring for your kids, you have these occupants that are caring for your property, for that investment. And you can't just call a new occupant like you can a new babysitter, right? So be kind, be respectful. That's the number one piece of advice when it comes to dealing with occupants. And always remember, they're going to be in a much worse situation than you are right now. They either A, lost their home because they couldn't pay the taxes, or B, they're a tenant, they're a renting tenant paying their rent to a landlord who failed to pay the property taxes. This happens more than you'd actually believe it. So how do you deal with them? You essentially have three different options that we're going to go over. The first option is going to be to work with them. Somehow just letting them stay in the property, right? And I think before we're continuing, it's very important to understand that just because they're living in a house that is tax foreclosed, that was lost to tax foreclosure, it does not mean that they don't have the ability to pay you. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be a situation that happens very, very commonly where a tenant is paying rent to a landlord month after month after month, and that landlord fails to pay the taxes. Or it could actually be the former owner who did lose the property, but maybe they had an issue, a financial issue 2, 3, 4 years ago, and the interest and everything else just kept piling on, and they couldn't dig themselves out of that hole. But perhaps they're in a better financial situation now, and they would be capable of keeping up as you move forward. So perhaps you either resell it to them or you just lease it back to them. Now, of course, this needs to meet your long-term investment objectives, and of course, it also can be dependent on the purchase price and the amount of capital that you have in that property. But you also have to realize that the occupant living there, and they get this and they're like, wow, you want me to buy it or you rent it? What do I do? They're typically not going to have that sizable down payment that is going to be customary on the secondary market. So in this type of situation, you can work those into the payments, right? So maybe the first 6 months have increased payments, which account for the down payment or the deposits, that kind of stuff. Then after that, it kind of levels out to market rates, okay? So the good thing is that not only will you receive cash flow for the foreseeable future, but since they're already living and occupying that property, odds are you won't have any substantial expenses for remodel or anything like that because it'll assumingly meet their needs already since they're living there, right? So your second option will be something known as cash for keys. And I've got videos on this on the YouTube channel. Just search cash for keys in my profile and you'll come across them. But basically, this is kind of a cross between trying to work something out and actually forcing them out of the property. And this is usually the direction that I like to take. In this type of arrangement, what will happen is you'll actually talk to the occupants. Now, it could be over the phone, it could be in person, but you actually have to have a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with the occupants. So this can be intimidating for some people, but I promise you, once you do 2 or 3 these type conversations, you'll quickly become a pro at it. So what I typically tell them is that the company that I work for now owns the property. Of course, I also happen to own that same company, but I always approach it that I work for the company, which of course is absolutely true. What this does is it allows me to approach the conversation as a business type decision opposed to a personal and an emotional decision, because the last thing I want is somebody to wrap up emotionals and all sorts of personal issues. I think it's a personal issue, me against them, that kind of stuff. So I tell them, listen, I work for this company, and the deal is now this company, to move forward, they need this property vacant. So from there, what I tell them is in exchange for vacating that property and leaving it in good condition when they move out, we're going to give them a cash payment. And that'll really help them move forward in their lives. And a lot of times they are so very grateful to hear that because they don't have a whole lot in some situations. Now, this could be like $100, it could be $500, or even more, depending on the specifics of that property. What this does, again, is it helps them to move forward. Maybe pay the deposit on their next place or electricity, or gives them something to put in their account to move forward from the situation that they're in, right? And I tell them just be sure to leave that property in as good a condition as possible. Now, I promise you, it might not be the best condition, but the occupant who hates your guts when they leave and they break every single window on their way out, that's going to cost you a lot more than whatever that money was when it came to that cash for keys. That $500, whatever it is, can go a substantially long way, okay? The last option is the legal option. The last option is to evict them from the property. Like I mentioned, guys, you can't just hire some muscle and force them out. There's a legal proceeding in every single state for evicting occupants of foreclosures. In some states, it's very, very simple. You file a writ of possession or some document with a very similar name, and the sheriff's office will post it usually within the same day or maybe the next day, and they have 24 hours to get out. Otherwise, the sheriff's department comes in there and they'll actually arrest them. Now, again, it has to go through the court system and through the sheriff's department. You can't do it yourself. In other states, it can actually be a very long, lengthy eviction proceeding where you have multiple court hearings, take a month or longer. So again, whatever your state's laws on how they deal with occupants of foreclosures, make sure you look that stuff up. Make sure you're very familiar with it before you buy an occupied property, just so you know what you're getting yourself into, okay? Regardless, it has to be done through the court system, and you need to make sure everything is filed and completed to their requirements. Okay, so guys, buying an occupied tax sale property does come with its own set of challenges, but they can really easily be dealt with. Your options are going to be to work with them and let them stay, offer them cash for keys, or legally evict them through the court system. Guys, that's it for today's live stream. I really hope you've enjoyed these live streams. If you do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. That way that we know you're finding lots of benefit and value from these live stream trainings. That way we'll be able to provide more and more of these in the coming weeks. And of course, if you're looking to learn more about investing in tax defaulted real estate, head on over to taxsaleacademy.com. Grab your free copy right here of Tax Sale Playbook. The book itself is free. All that we ask is your help to get it shipped from our warehouse to your front door and to help cover the shipping cost, which is only $4.97 inside the U.S. Hey guys, have a wonderful day and make it a